right, get up.
This is the best shirt that has ever existed in the history of the world. So, I thought I would start this review by showing you how awesome it is. It has everything. Excuse me, it has rainbows, it has unicorns, it has castles, it has the universe, it has everything you need. Just like this review video will give you everything you need for your essay question on your final exam. So, in all seriousness, try not to stare at the shirt. I know it'll be tough, but focus on me here. I just wanted to give you a very brief overview of what your big essay topic is going to be. Out of a 100-question final exam, 30 points will come out of a discussion and an understanding of the two main theories of kind of constitutional understanding in modern political discourse. And of course, what I've juxtaposed is kind of the modern popular understanding of the constitutional scheme, which is really the proponent of that is Woodrow Wilson, versus the more traditional view of things, which is the Madisonian view. So let me start with the Madisonian view. James Madison believed that the prime mover of American civil society is going to be the people themselves. People, as he argued in Federalist Paper number 10, are agents of self-interest. We follow our self-interest, we band together with people who have similar interests, and we form what he calls factions. And we petition the government, which is a First Amendment freedom. We petition the government to write laws and implement programs and create regulations and whatever that favor our interests. And so we have the ability to petition our government, and we have the power to affect the destiny and discourse of the country. And of course, the Founding Fathers created a branch that would be very sensitive to those opinions of the public. And that's why Article 1 talks about the fact that you have a House of Representatives, which is close to the people, and also a Senate, which was designed to be a little bit more distant. Now, of course, the 17th Amendment has made it closer, but the Congress is the barometer of public opinion. It is the one that has a relationship with us. Again, a 2-year term for the House members, the fact that they only come from a district, the fact that you could have a meeting with your congressman. So if he's going to war, he's changing the taxes, or she's deciding to create a program, you can give your 2 cents. You can say, look, I think this is a bad idea, or I think this is a good idea, but you can give your voice to the people who are going to be writing our laws in a representative democracy. In a Republican scheme of government, it's important to know what the public thinks. That's why we're not a pure democracy. We're a representative democracy. We're giving our voices, but we're not actually writing the laws. Now, once the will of the public has gone through a bicameral legislature, we've looked at all the opinions, we've looked at all the factions, we've created lots of compromise, we've tried to create consensus, and if there's enough consensus between the majority and the minority party, between the different factions of the same party in the House, or the 2 parties in the Senate, if you've gotten to 60 votes in the Senate, if it's a controversial issue, and if you've gotten the same bill between the House and the Senate passed, that is reflective of the national will. And in a traditional Madisonian understanding, once the national will has been created through discourse, through compromise, through the deliberation of the Congress, then we pass it off to the president to execute, to enforce with the kind of energy and vigor that Hamilton talks about in Federalist Paper number 70. Again, the Congress declares war, the president actually wages the war. The Congress funds the bureaucracy, and the president actually is in control of the bureaucracy and uses it to implement programs and to enforce laws. The Congress is the one that creates programs and creates laws and creates the regulatory regime, and then passes it off to the president, who uses his executive powers to make sure that the laws are faithfully executed. So again, the prime mover in the Madisonian system is the people, and the fact that they can articulate their views to the Congress, who then creates a form of national consensus through laws and then passes it off to the president. And of course, Madison believed that it was important to do that because there are different kinds of political power. There's executive power, there's legislative power, there's judicial power, and a just government makes sure that the branch that was designed to exercise those powers is ultimately the one that exercises them. To go beyond that is where you begin to intrude upon scopes of tyranny, and not just tyranny, but sometimes bad government. Again, we don't just want self-government, we also want good government. And Madison makes sure that checks and balances aren't just there to limit government power, but also to provide for effective power, to have good government as well as self-government. Now, Wilson is very, very different. Wilson believes that a Madisonian system of checks and balances and separation of powers, and one that's really motivated by a bunch of individuals pursuing their self-interest, is more like a Darwinian jungle than it is a Newtonian universe of elegant laws. And Wilson believed, perhaps in the 1800s, that kind of a system was going to be fine, but in an industrial, interconnected 20th century America, you need leadership. One of Wilson's primary concerns is that with a congressional system that dominates the national landscape, there's not really a forum for leadership. There's not really a place to give vision. It's just a forum to unlock this massive conflicting interests and try and broker compromise. But that's not vision. That's not inspiration. That's not a kind of directional sense of where the country ought to go. And the Speaker of the House, early in Wilson's career, he thought maybe the Speaker could provide that. But ultimately, he decided that the branch that was the most empowered and enabled to give a sense of a national direction, to give a sense of what progress should look like, is the President of the United States. And in a popular office, the President should convey that vision to the country. Should say, look, here's what we need. We need leadership, we need ideals, we need progress, and here's where I want to take the country. And the President will use the kind of unitary nature of the office and the energy and vigor of the office and project that into the public. That's why Wilsonian understanding of the Constitution goes hand in hand with the rise of the rhetorical presidency, what Teddy Roosevelt called using the bully pulpit. If you can't articulate a vision of the country to the public, then they don't know what to ask their congressman to enact. So at the end of the day, Wilson believed that the Madisonian system didn't provide necessary leadership, that a system of checks and balances doesn't provide for effective government, it just limits government, and ultimately he was a progressive. Wilson wanted the government to fix things. He wanted to get in there. Wilson looks at all the gridlock and the incrementalism and how slow things work, and it frustrated him, and he really wanted government to be more effective and more efficient, and the Madisonian scheme always stunted that. So make sure you understand the basic differences between the Wilsonian views of the Constitution and the Madisonian. The popular versus the constitutional. Again, this is a huge overview, lots of specifics that I skipped there, but should give you a strong sense of things. And ladies and gentlemen, it has been a wonderful quarter. I hope you feel like you've learned something. I've certainly enjoyed my time with you, and I hope that you are not strangers in the year ahead. Best of luck to all of you. God bless, and take care.